Hey, everybody. Give me just a second, as usual. This is Breaking the Cage, Astrology TV with Matrix Mind Media. I'm trying to find where it's. There we go. Hold on 1 second. I will share it to my page real fast as I start the show. Ran away. It ran away. Ooh. All right, and throw that out there now. All right. So this is Breaking the Cage. It's Astrology TV. It is for July 17th through the 23rd. You've got the new moon coming in Cancer. That right there is saying a lot. Let me get my incense burning. I pulled them out and then I lost them and then found them. I was like, trying to find my stuff as I was getting started. Sorry if I have a little bit of sniffles. I've been overdoing it and I've kind of exhausted myself a little bit, but I still was bringing the show out tonight. And I've been laying kind of low because I've been doing a little too much. And it's time for me to take some pampering on for myself. With that being said, I know that I had posted and people have been listening and following me for a while before I get into the show for tonight. And I'm always talking about my mom and taking care of her. And I had posted some information that of a little bit of trouble that we're having. And for anybody who did read that stuff and did leave me information, I am going to be getting into that information and everything on Monday. It was kind of pointless over the weekend. Can't reach anybody anyway. So I want to say thank you for everyone who was giving me any help and directing me in any kind of directions that would be helpful. If you don't know and you've never watched this show before, my mom's been going through a lot of heart surgeries. She's got AFib and she has dementia. And so it's been one thing after another, but we're looking into other alternate situations as well. But again, I wanted to say thank you for anybody who said their love, their energy, their healing, or just information. And I appreciate it all. With that being said, let's get into this week. Now, you just had the nodes shift, okay? If you've never watched the show before, I tell you a little bit about the astrology in general, whatever it is that I'm channeling in astrology. Plus, I get into the human blueprint, what's going on in the body, certain areas that may be affected by the shifting energies. And then I tell you what spirit is directing me to help you understand as we're walking through this week. The North and the South node, or K2 and Rahu, have shifted. They're now in Libra and Aries. And this is making a whole new set of energy. You've had Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto all in retrograde. They're still in retrograde. But you also have Venus in shadow. And Venus is going to be going retrograde, I think, at the next week. But it's definitely in shadow. And last week, I was going in and explaining that anytime Venus goes into retrograde, it's always an 8-year. So you're seeing with the Saturn energy being in Pisces and then Neptune energy plus the Venus retrograde that's coming in and then the shifting of the North and South nodes. You're seeing a lot of nostalgia. And a lot of that nostalgia is going to be based around the years of 2015, unless it goes all the way back to 2007. And the reason I'm explaining that, I said it last week, but I'm going to kind of make sure in case I'm keeping you up. And Venus always retrogrades every 8 years in the same sign. So the last time it was retrograding in this Leo energy where it was is 2015. But in 2015, that North and South node were in the opposite energies of what they are now. So that stirs up a little bit extra energy. If you go back 2 times from that 2015 to where Venus was on top of that, that's going to take you to 2007. So you may be having certain energies coming in from these nostalgia, memories. I have specific things the Spirit is giving me to talk to you about as far as this nostalgia and these memories, as well as typically you have that 12-year with all of the North and South nodes as they move. Typically it's like 13 years. It takes a little longer for it to make its full turn. So that's also telling you to look truthfully at nostalgia that might be returning from 2010 and 2011. There's a lot of things that are coming back. Now, this energy is really pioneering energy versus prehistoric energy. And the reason I give it to you that way is because with me being a shaman, I'm very connected with earth energy, but very connected with ancient energy. And I am picking up dinosaurs left and right, left and right. But what's really coming in is the pterodactyl. The pterodactyl is landing and grounding. It is actually on the ground, basically staring me down. And this is a big message for people in general, because first off, we're looking at extinct animals. We're talking about, in the spiritual world, looking at things that are extinct, that are no more. Just like you've been hearing since 2020, the world you knew is no more. You're looking at what are you still holding on to from an extinct life, from holding on to something that's not anymore. Pterodactyls, depending on the mythology and the religion that you follow, dragons are not necessarily seen as scary as the pterodactyl is, because the pterodactyl is coming in under the dinosaur and that prehistoric age, and where everything was more vicious. Okay, so it comes in with a little bit of that dragon energy, the pterodactyl does, yet it's coming in with very extinct energy. And the idea here is understanding that it's speaking to you about conquering your fears and your uncertainties of what is holding you back. But here's the key. It's reminding you that it is helping you stop the past from overshadowing the new future. You are being given a lot of memories, a lot of nostalgia, a lot of things that are coming back. And in this energy, I'm asking you, Spirit is putting it to me because I have a lot of it coming in for myself too. What is this in these nostalgia, in this idea, in these memories, in this time frame that's coming back to us? Where was that vibration? You may not have been awake yet. You may not have been on this kind of journey in any way, shape, or form. But where was the vibration? Where was the truth there? Really dissect that, because like I said, there's something here that has to change. It's not meant to be a redo. No way. But it is asking you, what are you overcoming that's similar to what that was? What is it that you're still having uncertainty of, but the overshadowing idea or memory may be pulling you in the wrong way? This is also speaking to you about, with the pterodactyl energy, fighting your instincts. What is the internal struggle where the instincts are technically what's in the way? This is where I get into that hive mind energy, that idea of the way you were taught society, what the world tells you the world will be like, the instincts that kick in from that versus your true soul self. Because this is part of what that pterodactyl energy is. It is that inner struggle against the instincts that actually are keeping you from freeing your own soul. Where is the fear and those instincts kicking in to be what you're used to? It's asking you to get out of that comfort zone. Remember, I'm telling you that the pterodactyl is grounded. It's like walking on the ground, coming towards us. And when you think about it, this is an animal that is supposed to have been known for flight, for soaring. Just like dragons, it's a very high vibrational energy, but at the same time, it's an energy of sorry, I am talking about dinosaurs snatching you up and taking you away. So this is asking you, where are you holding on to extinct ideas, and it's keeping you from moving forward. Old issues that are becoming the same, that are haunting you over and over again. This is part of what that pterodactyl energy is saying. Now, with that, I am being given 3 raccoons on a tree, and they're playing and they're getting into everything. This is the exact opposite. This is asking you, why can't you step into the new? Step into be curious. Step into explore and really try to move into a new idea. But it's also what they're really pointing out is the mask. Raccoons are known for, that little cover eyes. The mask, there is always a mask with the raccoons. And this means when you're looking into the human world, into our world, everybody has a mask for what they're doing. When you go to work, and especially if you're like in a cubicle or something, you may not be that same person. You are the same person, but it's like putting on a different hat. You're putting on the hat, your work hat. You're putting on your play hat. You're putting on your fun hat, putting on your driving hat. You have different experiences. You view things from different ways, depending on what mask you are wearing. And it's asking you to very much pay attention, but explore, try new things. Be willing to do something. Plus, there's a reason there's 3 there. I was given 3 raccoons. So this is talking about mind, body, spirit. Anything that would be your 3. Getting yourself in balance. Along with, I cannot say it enough, Spirit has been giving me from that movie, The Matrix, the lady in red, over and over and over and over again. And in case you don't remember it or you never saw the movie, in the movie, they were in like a training thing, and Neo and Morpheus are walking, and they just keep walking past all these people, and the lady in red goes walking by when Neo stops to check her out. And this is what Spirit's giving me. That's your pterodactyl. That lady in red would be your pterodactyl. Do not get distracted, because the pterodactyl will pick you up and take you back to start that life all over again. So in the movie, it's like I said, Morpheus is walking with him and asking him, is he paying attention? Because anybody who's not unplugged is ultimately still plugged into the hive mind and can work against you. That pterodactyl can land and land right on you and tell you exactly what you're still jump into your fears and your uncertainties and keeping you from truly overshadowing, keeping you in the overshadowed energy, keeping you there. This is why I keep giving you the red dress. Don't fall for it. Don't get distracted right now. It is important for you to explore new things, not continue or stay on the same path, but check out what's really just a distraction. This is about moving you into a new direction. Pioneering energy, reminding you, yes, it's a new beginning. We're coming into a new threefold, so to speak. I've been saying since before 2020 that Spirit was giving me the Exodus and energy. And then they shifted it to make it sound a little bit better and less confusing. They kept telling me, for all intents and purposes, when you look at your history, the Dark Ages, or the Middle Ages, as people would like to call them, that Dark Age energy, you think that they knew they were in the Dark Ages? They were living their life. Ultimately, this is what you are in right now. You are in the Dark Ages of the now, working your way back to the Golden Ages. You are that pioneering leader as we're moving forward, but you are going to fall and trip and land on your face and get up and do it again. This is speaking to you about the invisible rising from within. Like I said, this is about a soul journey, about truly coming after our soul energy. This is our invisible rising. This is speaking to us about understanding truly how we think, how we speak, how we feel, what we do. And it's our unconsciousness becoming conscious. as we're moving forward. This is all about self-development, self-centered energy, independence energy, self-assertive energy. But Spirit is saying there is so much self-reflection right now in the desire versus the restlessness. Meaning really wanting to be over here, but really, just like I said as I started the video, I've been in overdrive. I've been doing too much. I know I have to balance myself and give myself that tender, loving care and replenish my energy. The restlessness of trying to keep up and trying to do too much. There is a lot that Spirit is saying right now with the self-revelation, the self-invisible rising, as they're putting it, that this has to do with our own soul development and awareness as we're moving through these energies. But not just is it your soul development, you're ultimately rechanneling your tribe development. Now, let me have a sip of my water really fast, and then I'm going to get into the blueprint as I start to move us forward. Because my throat's getting dry. And actually, before I get into the blueprint, I want to speak about the new moon. The new moon is technically tomorrow. It is in Cancer. This says a lot about the energies in general. Cancer is a nurturing energy. It is the feminine of the masculine and the feminine. It's the opposite of where you had the full moon in Capricorn. All right. Cancer energy is a nurturing energy, a mother energy, but it also happens to point out where neglect often is. It is speaking to you in general on the universal fourth house. This is the roots of who and what you are, getting deep down into the roots and redefining. It is your inner emotional security. Cancer is also highly emotional. It's one of the biggest empath energies. It's very aggressively emotional, distracted. I mean, not distracted, but distraught. I mean, cancers are known for their temper. Okay? Emotionally. Not always hinged right. I'm a Cancer moon. I can admit that. I mean, this is talking about our inner emotional security, our nurturing, our neglecting, our strapping ourselves into the roots of who and what we are, the invisible rising of what we are talking about. And a new moon is talking about it being in the darkness and coming into the light. So we're coming through these changes. Like I said, you had all these moves and these retrogrades and the nostalgia and the Saturn and boundaries and just really all up in our face right now. You have the hyoid bone. I may be saying it wrong. This is where Chiron is, the wounded healer. The hyoid bone is technically the U-shaped bone right here in the throat. It connects with the tongue. The wounded healer, literally connecting with the tongue. You're a capability to speak and vibrate the words that you are bringing out. Remember, it's not just about creating or speaking. You're also speaking a frequency. You're speaking a vibration. And this is the wounded healer, literally is sitting on the tongue and the hyoid bone on how we deal with this. A lot of this energy is right in here right now. You have that north node, which is now moved in. It is on the parotid gland. This is literally like right here on the body on both sides. And it deals with your ears, but it does deal with your lips, your cheeks, your mouth, your throat. All of this is having to do with how are we speaking? How are we vibrating? What are we vibrating? And I'm saying it that way because I want you to hear it as that. It's not just words. It's not just talking, singing, anything that's coming out. It is a vibration. What are you vibrating into the world? Literally. Remember, it's a spell from the moment it leaves your mouth. What are you spelling? It is also going over the auditory gland. So this is literally the ability to vibrate, the ability to step into the frequency. And what are you sending out? You are literally sending out frequencies right now. You are literally sending out vibrations, calling cards to the manifestation about what you're bringing to you and what you're creating in the reality around you. And it's not just sound in general, is the way that they're pointing it out to me. It's not just sound. When you get into Jupiter, the abundance is in the neck and the nerves. And then when you get into Uranus, which is in Taurus, it is literally on the thyroid muscles, which is taking you back to the tongue and the ability to create the sound. You are creating the vibration of the speaking voice, the everything. Literally, is it coming out in a vibration, in a frequency that you want to be part of? A lot of people don't catch it at that theory. They catch it in the idea of what they speak into reality, how they're talking or thinking or acting, but you are actually sending out like sonic, or maybe it's like underwater, like vibration signals that you are sending out. And I'm always saying, if you aren't a very high vibrational person, it is harder for those. It is harder for the frequencies of, as they like to call them, angels or higher vibrational, like Pleiadians and so forth, for the higher vibrational energies to be able to speak with something that's in a lower vibration. You are literally sending out echoes to the vibrations of what can and can't hear you. And this has a lot to do with what you bring into your life in your normal activity. They're helping me to try to open your mind or your ears, your concept up here. Okay. When we get into Cancer, Cancer has the sun here, but the sun is going to be leaving and coming into Leo. And happy birthday still for all of you Cancers. Happy birthday for all of you Leos coming in. But as it moves into Leo and out of Cancer, the sun literally is going to be traveling through this energy, which is the spine, which is the ribs, which is the vertebrae, and then going into the heart. The sun already is all of those things. So all of that energy, the casing of the ribs that protect the heart, the vertebrae, your spine in general, as well as your spleen, which is a life force energy. Your life force energies are on double count this week. They're in the energies of their normal energy, plus they're actually going through the energy itself. Okay, so that's going to be even more, meaning not just protect yourself, but like I said, this is the time where you have to love yourself right. I was saying with Venus going retrograde last week that there's so much we're looking at what we value, and being in, and are not just, are you being valued, but what do you value, as well as, are you getting to explore and be part and enjoy? Because there's a lot going on in there right now. That has a lot to do with the life force energy. Why are you going to continue to live this life if you hate it? We're looking into what makes you tick, what makes you enjoy, what makes you, and see, part of that nostalgia is going to be triggering pieces. Don't get yourself confused to think like for me, I have nostalgia of when I lived in Florida, bing, bang, boom, everywhere. And I was in Florida for a long time, but I keep being redirected at things that were making me happier that I'm not doing anymore. That, hey, I need to put that kind of bounce in my step back now, here. Whether I do it here or I go back to Florida, the idea is showing me, don't get yourself confused. and think that the nostalgia or the ideas that are coming in are telling you to redo. They're pointing out, just like I said, uncertainties of where you've gotten off step and fears that's made you kind of fall behind. Don't allow those things to happen right now. In that heart space, it's very much we need to protect that energy. We need to rekindle that energy. We need to re-acknowledge, reignite that energy, and finding out what makes us free our soul. Part of that pterodactyl energy trying to teach you how to free your soul is part of what we're going right now. It's not just life force in the way of breathing in the three-dimensional. It's life force as in everlasting connection. Okay? You have the sun still has, Leo still has Lilith and Mercury and Venus, which is all of this is in the heart. The sensitivity, the communication, and Lilith, all of their energies are in the heart. So this is very much pampering yourself, taking the time and making sure that you're getting the rest you need. You're not overdoing it. Because one of the things I was told many years ago that always sticks with me, like when you catch a cold, when you've done too much and you've beaten down on yourself by trying to keep up too much to catch the cold, or so to speak, was somebody told me a long time ago, mucus, like what you cough up when you're sick and you have the flu, is kind of like the heart's way of crying. It's one of the heart's way of going, you're putting too much on me. Listen to this stuff right now. Make sure that you're not giving more than you have or more than you truly desire. If you don't want to do it, you don't want to be a part of something. Just like lately, I'm sorry, I've been working less hours, even though I've been twice as crazy because of everything going on with mom. But I've just been like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care how many hours I have. I'm going home. I work a part-time job. I have my business that like I'm doing with you right now. But my point is we have to get to a point where we're finally standing as those leaders and going, you know what? If I don't want to be part of this, I don't want to do this. It's not about being irresponsible. It's about being responsible to the soul, responsible to the energy that you are part of. And if this is not part of what you want to be part of, then we got to learn how to step away from it and stop. Because this is big part of the changing that's coming in and not staying in that energy. The heart is going to tell you this week if you're crowding it, if you're not treating it with the proper love and respect that you should be giving yourself. Like I said, with Venus, Mercury, Lilith, and the sun coming in at the end of the week, you're going to know. And then coming in through the rest of the month as it does its work, you're going to know. Then you've got Virgo, has Mars in it. Mars is literally traveling over the appendix, the colon, the rectum, and the abdominal energy. So your action, passion, action, aggression is in that solar plexus, and it's not solar plexus, sacral chakra for the most part, and it is clearing shit out, quite literally. All right? It's not having it. And this is grounding and running with it. Where are we taking this energy? As we look into Sirius, Sirius is in Libra. It is sitting on the kidneys. Again, that sacral chakra. Your south node is sitting with Haumea. Haumea is your collective consciousness. And it has been sitting right here in the edge of Libra. Now you've got the south node here, which is bringing that attention to you. And it is literally in those sexual organs. Guys, this is time to birth, death, rebirth. It is all about the rebirthing. It is about becoming the new pioneers of the new age and learning exactly what that means about ourselves and our lives and the world that we are creating, right down to understanding what we are speaking is a vibration, not just words. And it is echoing just like I think, like I said, I think it's sonic energy. when it goes through the water. I could be getting it wrong, but that's the way I see it, more or less. Now, let me have another sip of my water, and I'm going to get into the challenges, because there has been a lot of challenges this week, but there's a lot of good things. It's just the challenges have been very difficult, very, push. They're mainly the same as last week with a little bit different. Because it's been like a grand cross, a grand square, but it's not quite a grand cross. It is a grand square kind of energy. You have Pluto and the sun, which is directly across from each other. This is still technically in the 4th house until like the last day of the week when the sun moves into Leo, or last 2 days. Pluto is still in that 10th house in retrograde. So this is your inner emotional security, the roots of who and what you are, the roots that created you. Knowing that you can't lose the inner you versus just how much of that inner you is in that outer world. How much of that outer world is having authority over the inner you? Where are you taking the vibration of yourself, that oneness, and letting it be seen versus still being goaded like the sheep? Okay, and it is directly speaking with that North and South node, which is now in Aries and Libra. And Libra with the Haumea, the collective consciousness, in the South node in Libra, 7th house, relationships, the peacemaker for all the wrong reasons. And I say it that way because it's the South node. This is why I've kept saying over and over again, coming to be the new leader is not about saving face, not about going, I'm going to rise and do what's right. But when we rise and do what's right, it's kind of like letting it slide. I'm not gonna pick the fight. I know that technically this is a situation is bad, but I'm gonna rise and be the better person. But the shit still went bad. So you're going to rise and be the better person? No, what you're really doing is just going, I'm going to let it slide. This is what I'm talking about. Relationships with yourself and the outer world, everything that you are connected to. You have a relationship with your family, with the people you are dating. You have a relationship with your bank. You have a relationship with your car. You have a relationship with a roof over your head. You have a relationship with your food. When you have no food, you know all about that relationship and the lacking part of it. This is what I'm saying. We are talking about, hold on one second. We are talking about understanding where it is time to step into being the leader and going, no, this is not acceptable anymore. This is moving into, standing up for ourselves, really standing in the possibility of making these changes, not picking fights just to pick them, but making sure if there is something that's not right, we don't just turn our head and say, I'll be the bigger person, while we actually do nothing about it. That North node is in Aries. That's the bull in fire. I mean, technically it's the goat, but it's bullheaded just like that Taurus energy. Aries is, I'm going to run at you with everything I got, unless something distracts me. Aries is the beginning. It is fire energy. It is the warrior ready to take on everything. So this is about making sure we can control and maintain our energy as we are doing these things. We are finding ourselves changing the world, but changing it through the vibration of how we are speaking. How we are speaking makes a big difference as to what will happen and the vibrations, as well as the manifestation that you are bringing. This is why I'm saying it to you this way. This is your honor, your reputation, your prestige, the authority of the outer world. And where are you having your part of authority in it versus standing in your inner emotional security? Your warrior, your peacemaker, and making sure that you're keeping them in balance. This is not going to be an easy challenge, but this challenge is still going to be set for quite a while, especially between the North and South node. That's starting right now, period. But now we've got the sun coming in through that fourth house into the fifth house, and you've got Pluto that's going to be sitting there. This whole week is asking you, though I walk through the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, meaning you have the power. But do you know? Do you know how to harness it? And what will you do with it when you harness it? You have the sun, which is not getting along with Chiron, technically in the fourth house. As it moves into the fifth, Chiron's still in that first house, and it's literally on the bone that's using your tongue. The sun is not all ego. The sun is also speaking to you about everything that is illuminating in the fourth house, inner emotional security, or the very lack of it, nurturing and neglecting the root of who and what you are. How much of your own roots are you going to see? As it's speaking to Chiron, the wounded healer, about making the changes in your character, about upgrading yourself and the life you want to see and this planet you want to see. Like I said, this is about becoming the leaders now. But you're going to get targeted with uncomfortability. And what character will you take on? What persona will you take on when these things happen? You have Venus, which is, like I said, in shadow with Lilith and Mercury, more or less. But Lilith and Venus are closer together. And they are not getting along with Uranus or Jupiter. That throat chakra again, the abundance of the throat chakra, because you're talking about Jupiter, and standing in your power, independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. Are you in control of your power, or is someone else in control of your power? I've been saying it for 3-4 years now. If you're not in your power, someone or something else will be. And this is talking about being able to express yourself. Venus gives you the ability to communicate and charm the pants off of a situation, but she's also going to tell you when it hurt and it hit below the belt. And this is standing between you and the life you want, the joy you want, the fun you want, the hobbies, the habits, just the things that make you tick and be happy to be part of the day. Are you being manipulated into being pushed around? Because it's asking you who has possession of the energy you want, who has possession of the life you're creating, who has the more power here. And I do mean it in the way of manifesting. So in a form, this is also talking about your bosses. How much of your life, your credit, your energy, your time do you give to everybody else to tell you what you have time for, what you can do, what you can explore, what you can enjoy, versus, no, I have to be responsible and I have to do these things. Are you being responsible, or are you being goaded? Like I said, the big owners of the companies are off on their boats, off enjoying their summer or doing whatever it is that they do, while they toss the buck down to the little guy, to the little guy, to the little guy, to the little guy, until it's down to the ones that never get any time off, never get any. It's time to start pushing that shit back up the hill. If that's your job, you should do it. I'm not going to do it for you. This is where you lose the ability to enjoy your life. You lose the ability to check into your inner creativity, your inner fun, your inner child, your inner sports, your inner artist, your inner whatever that happens to connect that source energy into that kid that can't relates you up. Are you connecting it with what you're speaking? Or are you just speaking it to yourself while others are telling you what to do? I say it the way it is because it's a challenge. It's not going to be easy. For many of you, you are still letting something else dictate the situation. And this is where you've got to get out of that hive mind thinking and get into that creating of your own energy. When we get into Mercury, the communication, this is coming again from the heart chakra. The heart chakra is also not getting along with Jupiter. The abundance. Remember, Jupiter is a lucky planet, but Jupiter can only abundantly manifest what you feed it. So if you're feeding it the idea, remember, they say in manifestation, they say energy can be manipulated, shifted, and changed, but energy will always be energy. It's already been created. So they tell you, if you want to manifest, you have to meet its vibrational frequency. They tell you that you have to get into that thought, that feeling, that vibrational thought, that vibrational idea. You have to feel it and start to be of it. Then it is already yours. If you are telling yourself it, but you really feel like shit, then this is talking yourself into getting there. But you're not going to manifest it because you're not there. This is understanding we have to actually start to feel that. Just like I was saying, I have a lot of that energy of, I miss my inner beach bum. I miss, and I don't mean it like a bum, but like I miss my inner beach bum. I miss that energy of that way of life, and I need to start applying it into this one so that I'm feeling it again. Doesn't mean I have to go back to the beach, but I have to apply it to this one so that I'm feeling that vibration again, because that is what I'm missing in my vibration right now. This is the exact same thing. I'm telling you, in your manifesting and your creating, this is about your fifth, your heart, your Leo energy with Mercury speaking directly with Jupiter in abundance. What are you telling your creating energy, where you create, where you enjoy your inner child, that inner fire, that inner fun, that inner spark? Are you telling that spark that it is okay, that we're good, that we can do more, that we like this? Or are you so overwhelmed and overshadowed, pterodactyl, that you're missing it and you're selling your heart? Again, that fifth house, that inner lion, that inner heart space is very under scrutiny about soul energy right now. This is freeing the soul energy, learning where we've been doing it wrong so we can get it right. And then we have Saturn in that 12th house. Our grief, sorrow, shame, blame, inner securities. Lack of our inner emotional security. And it is fighting with Mars and Pallas in the 6th house. This is about your daily mundane tasks, the actual time of the daily mundane tasks, the people, places, and things of energies that you consume. Are these energies that are that you consume consuming you? Because that goes both ways. The people, places, and things of energies that you are part of. If you spend every single day in a crack house, well, then most likely you're going to be in an energy that's a crack house. If you spend it in a gym or at the beach or doing something constructive with yourself and your energy, then you're coming into this. I'm being honest. People, places, and things of energies, you don't just consume, it consumes you. It becomes the energy that is the most potent and the most manifesting. And then it goes directly over to where it's always in its opposite of the 12th house, grief, sorrow, shame, blame, and insecurities. This is asking us in our daily mundane tasks, what we do so repetitively, where are we nurturing or neglecting who and what we want to see this world to be? Mars is the warrior trying to ground. Again, bringing that pterodactyl energy back in. And are we overshadowing the past with what we know, our comfort zones? Or are we starting to be the three little raccoons that are willing to try new things, but keeping our eyes open and not become distracted by what we've always known, by a new radiant ray. Saturn rules walls, boundaries, making the changes to make the healing, to make the action, and make it come true in your daily tasks. It's all right there, but it's not made easy. You have some trine energy, which is definitely good. You have the south node and Haumea in that 7th house, which is getting along great with Saturn. Getting along great with making the changes. It is capable to make the changes. To change and get out of that comfort zone, to rekindle the tribe, or to at least state within the tribe who's really in the tribe and start to adjust. This just means maneuvering. Change the maneuvering. As we get into Mars in that 6th house, you have it getting along great with Jupiter and the North Node. That's Taurus and Aries. Not too far apart, but a little bit. You have that Mars energy, everyday mundane tasks, people, places, and things, the energy that you consume. It is asking you about your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem, your character, identifying what you are creating. That 2nd house, Jupiter, is the biggest manifestation right now. But it all depends on if you're in your power or if you're giving your power away and if somebody else is getting your manifestation. Really, that's where it's going. Because if you're not standing in it, you might as well just step out of the way and let that drive right on by into who you're giving it to. This is standing in your character, not just your ego, acknowledging your character, illuminating who you are. That does not have to always be ego. This can be showing a very strong character, the inner warrior, learning how to be of peace and of warrior at the same time. Harmony. You have Venus, which is in shadow, which is now getting along great with that North Node in the 1st house. This is standing up for what you want, standing up for what you believe in, standing up for your rights, standing up for what you desire. But again, it all has to do with how are we vibrating it? How are we speaking it? Because you are manifesting a spell from the moment it leaves your lips. And how and what vibration are you sending it out in? Again, that North Node is everything you need to learn in order to move forward, moving into Aries. It's telling you how to be independent, how to stand on your own, how to not be codependent. It is speaking to us about being able to create and enjoy the life we want by doing these things. Not asking for forgiveness, but by doing it. Then you have Mercury, which is getting along great with Chiron, also in Aries. Also right here in the throat, literally on the tongue, on the sound of the vibration that you're creating of your life. And it is Mercury, communication, coming from the heart, from the experience of having the experience. You have some sextiles, which is always great energy. The only problems you're ever going to find with the sextile is you got comfortable and you missed the opportunity. So this is why I'm giving you it, so you know what opportunities are there. You have the sun, which is speaking with, this was there last week too. The sun, which is speaking with Uranus, which then is speaking with Neptune, which then is speaking with Pluto. So this is the character, your inner emotional security in the 4th house, nurturing the root of everything that is yours, of yourself, of this 3-dimensional world and more, speaking directly to you coming into your power, or where are you neglecting that power? Where are you giving it away? Self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, independence, integrity. Speaking to Neptune about what you're creating. The 12th house. Are you getting overshadowed by your past? Or are you learning from your past? Because it's going right to that Pluto 10th house. It's going directly into the outer world and recreating. Though I walk through the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, or I will stand behind and follow whatever they tell me to believe in. Because I'm a good girl or boy. Really. It's showing a whole new idea of the character that you are within the new world that we're creating. It's telling you you can be anything if you believe you can be anything. Then you have that Saturn, which is getting along great with Jupiter. The manifestation of the being able to make the changes are there if only you'll speak it. But depending on how you speak it will depend on what you manifest on the challenge, on the new boundaries, on the redesigning. Will you lose your head, keep your cool, and be able to still play peacemaker? Don't lose your head right now. Step back, make sure that you compose yourself, you think it through, then go back in, but speak your mind with your feet grounded. You have Venus and Mars, the 5th and the 6th house. These energies are completely getting along great with the South Node, the collective consciousness, Almea, and the South Node in Libra. It is time to reset the development. We're starting to reset the development. We are the pioneers, but you're going to fall, and then you're going to get up and you're going to keep doing it until you get it right. That's all. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.